This is Have a Seat with Jason Benetti and Dan Dickerson, presented by Feiger Law.
Well, welcome to a very special edition of Feiger Law's Have a Seat. We couldn't be happier today to have Tom Selleck with us here to talk some baseball.
Good.
When was the last time you were in Detroit to actually take in a Tiger?
That's a long time. I used to be here a lot, but then I got this regular job on a show, Blue Bloods, and really since the late 90s, I did some very successful Westerns, and I was producing, and I was writing, and then I did 9 Jesse Stone movies and Blue Bloods for 15 years, and I never got back. I've never seen Comerica Park. This is all I've seen of Comerica Park.
It's all conference rooms. The whole ballpark is conference rooms and halogen.
So it's all computer-generated effects. That's really good.
That's right. AI advancements have been phenomenal.
We know you're a huge Tigers fan. I want to know, how did you become a Tigers fan? You were born here, but you moved at a very young age to L.A.
I was born here and lived at 5902 Maryland. Didn't see my dad for about 2 years because he was in the military for World War II. A B-29 mechanic. And we went out to California when I was about 4. But there was no major league team in California. And so by the time I discovered Little League with my brother Bob, we loved the Tigers. Bob changed a little bit because Tommy Lasorda signed him for the Dodgers when he was at SC. So my dad's uncle, my dad's a self-made man. I mean, he came out to California with nothing.
Wow.
And I always felt if he didn't say it, he meant it. The risk is the price you pay for opportunity. He took a big risk. But his uncle Lyle Fife, had a company called Fife Electric, and he was president of the Lions. I don't think he was the owner.
Okay.
But he was a successful man, president of the Lions. Well, when we came out every summer. My dad drove.
Wow.
Every summer, he promised my mom that she'd see the Jagger family. They had 9 kids. And so he'd drive out. But this time, with us discovering baseball, I think my Uncle Lyle and my Aunt Margaret, my dad's sister, helped get us into Tiger locker room.
At how young of an age?
I would say 8 or maybe 9.
There it is.
I'm
Wow.
guessing. And
you're
I met
hooked.
Al Kaline.
Yeah.
And Ray Boone, Harvey Keene.
Yeah.
And I got a good one for you for Tigers.
Yeah.
Walt Dropo.
Yeah.
Dropo.
It's a good name.
He's from Chicago. He was a Chicago guy, but he played for the Tigers for a while. I met him. Probably met Charlie Maxwell. I don't know everybody else, but Kaline and Keene was a big deal. So, look, I was just hooked and remained hooked. Tommy Lasorda always used to kid me once I did Magnum and picked a Detroit Tiger hat. He says, "Why don't you wear a Dodger hat sometime?" Tommy was great.
So you became infatuated immediately with baseball.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And then ended up playing at USC.
No, I didn't. I made the incredibly wise mistake of deciding on a basketball career. I'd played baseball all through Little League and Babe Ruth and loved it, but I was getting burned out. And also in senior year of high school, I was 6'1". And
Tell me what that's like.
yeah, and I grew like 3 more inches, and I think my body hadn't caught up with the skills I had, and so I was playing basketball,
Yeah.
So I was a 6'4" forward in the Pac-8. Well,
I thought you played a little baseball there too. You never
I
played
played
at
base. I kind of gave up base. I was a little burned out, which
I
is
see.
a major regret. And my brother Bob kept saying, "You got to go out for baseball." But I spent one day out with Rod Dado,
Yeah.
not with Rod, but with the team, and I was kind of embarrassed. You know, it takes a while to get back at it, and I just stuck with basketball. But in the Pac-8 at 6'4", unless you're gifted, you're going to ride the pine, and that's what I did at SC.
But you said
Until I started playing volleyball.
you set the bench at a very high level. You said.
Yes. I was skilled. Well, I was kind. We had our star player was a guy named John Block, so I was kind of reserved for standing ovations at the end of the game for John Block.
But you could feel like it was for you.
and I did make the record book in SC basketball.
How?
I had the highest shooting percentage in basketball history, 2 for 2. How'd you know?
Just a shot in the dark.
Yeah, well, 2 for 2. So
So
Then you took up acting.
I played a lot of competitive softball. I mean, with really good, some ex-major leaguers. I just loved it. But I missed the window, and I don't know. What's the odds of ever getting there anyway? But I was okay.
But what are the odds of making it in Hollywood? Which odds are better?
They're very slim if you never thought of it as an occupation, which was me. I was at SC studying business.
Yeah.
And a 6'4" forward on the basketball team. Go figure. But my last semester at SC, I had somebody sent me to a commercial agent, and I thought, well, I guess you could make some money. And I got a Pepsi-Cola commercial with a basketball format because I could stuff a basketball with either hand, which is probably why I got the commercial, not for my acting skill. But 20th Century Fox had a talent program, like the old studio system.
it was really the last of that, wasn't it?
It was the last of the old studio system. I mean, they had teachers, and I got subsidized, not for very much, probably less than, I think about $50 a week or something. But I got subsidized to study. I was scared to death. But by the time they fired me, I had learned enough about the craft of acting that I really liked it. Fired me and Sam Elliott and a guy named Lyle Wagner, all these guys in the program. And
Why'd they fire all the good people?
Yes.
Why did they
the
do that?
secretly talented people. It was just a well-kept secret.
But it was 2 years, right, in the talent program.
I was in there for 2 years with a stint in the National Guard because I discovered something. I didn't discover it. I just ignored it, thinking that'll never happen. That was during the Vietnam War, and once I dropped a class at SC so I could go to the talent program and lost my student deferment. And I got a letter in the mail from the Selective Service. And basically what the letter was you have to report for a physical, and if you pass the physical, you have 30 days before you're drafted, enlist in the Army, or enlist in the reserves. And I had this contract. I'd never had a job at Fox, but I was in the talent program. And basically, I picked the reserves. So I did 6 months active duty. Excuse me, in the middle of that. So it was a long haul. I was in training for over a decade.
Yeah, and then it's a winding road of commercials and some scattered
Yes, I did some really
roles and-
stupid commercials.
What was the stupidest commercial?
The stupidest commercial, well, I got to the point I was doing okay with commercials.
The close-up commercials were pretty good.
If it was really stupid or just totally embarrassing, I found an excuse to tell my agent, well, I couldn't, I got in traffic or something.
I have measles.
I did a close-up toothpaste commercial where I'm sitting on a plane and the stewardess, that's what it was called in those days, says, I bet you're anxious to meet your girlfriend. And I say, well, after this flying delicatessen, she may give back the ring. And I have to blow in my hand and smell my breath and say, I better brush my teeth. That was really stupid. And it doesn't work, by the way. It doesn't work at all.
Sales of
Blowing your hand,
close-up
smelling your breath.
sales of close-up did not soar after these commercials.
I did 2 other close-up toothpaste commercials that weren't quite as embarrassing. So, if you got a network commercial, you got paid every time it ran, and they were 3 network commercials. So I'm grateful that I had close-up teeth because their advertising guy said, it's not everybody has close-up teeth. Some people might be better with Crest and all, but we have our own type of.
There's a template.
And you, I think, have close-up teeth. So I got 2 more. And then beer commercials are like that, too. They all have their own
Look.
I was very good at beer pour because I had a steady hand. And I got a Schlitz commercial that way. But they all had their own ideas of what a beer pour should be. Some like to overflow a little. So you'd spend half the commercial just doing a beer pour. So that was my life.
Did you get any product from the people of Schlitz for your
kind of
pouring?
Pulled my own way on the beer area and had plenty of product,
I love it.
So
especially in college.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have to.
Yeah, it's one part of the mandatory requirements.
That's growing
know.
up.
Yeah, usually from a keg, if it was a proper beer, and then you could get in beer fights, so, which were also mandatory.
We don't do that enough on this program.
beer fights.
Yeah, beer fights.
Yeah, I've never heard you guys talk about beer fights.
See, this is what we're
I
missing.
see your show all the time.
Yeah, this is what we're missing.
When you get the role of Magnum,
Yeah,
so 6 pilots that you've done that did not get picked.
6 unsold pilots.
Unsold
yes.
pilots. This is the 7th. It does get picked up. Who makes the choice to wear the Tiger's hat? The Olde English D. There was no pushback?
I talked to Don Belisario, who created the show, and basically had an idea how he should dress because he was a Navy guy. And he had resigned, and now he was an unsuccessful private investigator. And I said he should have old Army shirts that he kept afterwards. And Navy guys wear ball caps, so he's got to wear a ball cap. But we need another one. And the Tigers in 1980
That was the
needed
team.
a lot of help. And I'm not saying that's how they got to 84.
But
just
we
'cause
can't
of the
discount.
cap. But it was the #1 selling cap. Once Magnum hit, which it was really popular, it was the #1 selling cap in the country. So I did it. I think we had to get a release from
Yeah.
the Tigers. Probably would have, but
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I just and you know, I was thrilled. As I say, my brother knew Tommy Lasorda, and Bob was, I think, out of baseball by then. He played 3 years. Tom Lasorda would give me a lot of static.
But as I can tell you, as a Michigander, that was the coolest thing to see. The most popular program, the biggest character on TV,
cool,
wearing the Olde English D.
Cool for me too, and It's such a cool cap.
It is. It really is. How did you know you had a hit on your hands? And when did you know?
On Magnum?
Yeah.
Well, I was pretty superstitious after 6 unsold pilots, and I don't know. I say 9 because I probably had 20 readings for shows that I didn't get. So I wouldn't call it a hit. I mean, we were getting great numbers, and they kept growing. I think I did, when we reached our 13th episode, that's what we were picked up for. It's 22 for a year, 13. And in that episode, I was doing a fight scene with a guy named Ted Danson. Wow. He was the bad guy.
Wow.
And 2 things happened. The first thing that happened is I'd seen every cliche in the book. And Ted, at the end, pulls a gun, and I kick it out of his hand, and I'm with the girl. She's a good person, and we get in a fight. And at a certain point in the fight, I kicked the gun out of his hand, and I had the keys to the boat because I was going to drive the boat and then get shot. And
as you do on a Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. And in a lot of shows.
Right.
And Ted reaches into a little compartment on the side of the boat and pulls out a big grappling hook.
We gotta find
And
this.
this was a monumental thing for me. I stopped the shot, and I said, I can't do this.
This is every cliche I've ever seen.
I wasn't difficult at all. I was grateful. But I said, he's a big guy. He's got a grappling hook. I got the keys to the boat. Why can't I just grab my lady friend, Andrea Marcovici, is the actress, and dive in the water and yell police?
Yeah.
And they just all turned as white as a sheet. And they said, we can't do that, and we're in Hawaii, and we'd have to call Los Angeles. And I said, well, I suggest you do something. But that was the solution. That happened where we started recognizing cliches, which added a humorous element to comment on them. Then you could kind of deal with them.
Yeah, because you were kind of self-aware in the end, right?
Like the bad guy has the gun on you, and you say, as long as you're going to kill me, why don't you tell me why you did it? So the audience will know what the plot is. I did that one too once, and I had one of the actors say, well, what are you doing, Magnum? I said, well, I'm trying to tighten up all the loose ends like all those TV detectives.
Did that make the final
cut? So that
cut?
happened, and in the 13th show, we got picked up.
Yeah.
For the rest of the season. And I told my fellow cast members and all over, so I said, okay, I'm willing to call it a hit.
Yeah, so as Ted Danson is grabbing that grappling hook,
Yes.
you think, you know what, the two of us and another guy who's in Short Circuit should definitely do 3 Men and a Baby.
No, I did not have that. I wasn't prescient in that way.
You weren't.
No.
I will tell you, 3 Men and a Baby is one of those movies that my family had the VHS copy of.
And roared out.
And when you had the VHS copy of something in the early 90s,
Yeah.
you watched it over and over and over
Yes.
again.
Did you watch it for the ghost?
I'm not going to ask you about the ghost, but I always was scared about the ghost because my older cousin told me about the ghost.
Yes.
And I was terrified.
I don't know, for your audience, there was a shot
There's a
where
little
everybody
niche.
thought they saw a ghost. The explanation, I think, is that Ted Danson's character was a vain actor. I don't know where they got that idea. And he had posters of himself in the room, and one of them was in soft focus. And That's the explanation, but it looks pretty spooky.
It was a great movie for families, though. My family and I loved it.
I think it was wonderful. And you know who directed it?
Who was it?
You could guess for an hour and you'd never guess. He was an actor. Leonard Nimoy.
No way.
Spock
Really?
directed 3 Men and a Baby.
He made some really good movies.
And he did a beautiful job. It was highly professional. He's a funny guy. But nobody, I didn't know what to think when they said, well, Leonard Nimoy's going to direct,
Yeah.
you know?
Wow.
At the peak of Magnum, you go take batting practice at Tiger Stadium.
I did. I think the first time I took batting practice, I think Magnum was still going.
There's still, it's 86. You're 41 years old. It's still the core of that 84 championship team. Most of the big names are still there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how often had you swung a bat? And what was it?
Not very often.
What was the
Dick
reaction?
Krasuski was pitching BP that day. And that doesn't mean anything except it's interesting. But he threw good batting practice. I hit about 3 or 4 out. And really my brush with greatness was I hit one out of the park.
Did you really?
Yes. It went over the fence and through a tunnel, an exit tunnel, and rolled out of the park.
Out of the ballpark, it counts.
I think I don't know whether I reached the upper tank
I think you did.
on one.
Yep.
It was 3 or 4, and there was a clip they showed, and there were players, you know, milling around, good, and actors,
Right.
You know, and I hit one out, and they went.
You can see the reaction. I mean,
Yeah,
they're all
it
looking
was
like,
neat.
wait a minute, what?
I didn't know what was going to happen going. I was scared to death. And the rest is history. I didn't sign anything with the Tigers or anything. I was.
Well, okay, so you hit a ball out of Tiger Stadium.
Yes.
Not that, you know, just the home run
Not
itself.
like
No, I know.
Ted
I know
Williams
what you're saying.
hitting one on the roof.
I know what you're saying. But as a fan, to get to be on the field and hit a home run at Tiger Stadium, like
It was living the dream. I mean, yeah, I was nervous and everything else. And,
were you
and
nervous? You were
actu-
nervous?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Can't you just see
I
Gibby
was-
and
I
and
don't
Jack
think I ever
Morris?
stopped being nervous. But I had an acting coach who taught me a lot. I mean, actors are always fighting nerves. They're nervous.
No matter how long
he
you've been
said
doing
you
it.
have to make friends. This is good for baseball players. He said you have to make friends with the nerves. If you fight them, they will get worse. So if your hands are sweating, look at them and talk to them. Say, thank you for coming. You're part of my talent. And if you welcome them, they can work for you. And so I was used to dealing with nerves, but I didn't talk to my hands or anything with the Tiger.
Gibby would have worn you out, or Jack would have worn you out, or somebody would have worn you out for that.
Yeah. And I don't think I hit with him again probably till I got the movie Mr. Baseball,
Baseball.
I just
which
think
was
that's
originally Tokyo Diamond.
How in the world did you get them to agree to let you to prepare for that role in Mr. Baseball? 3 weeks of spring training in 1991.
I knew Sparky by then because we talked when I hit with him, and George, he likes to be called George. I'd see him in Thousand Oaks at the hardware store because he lived out in Thousand Oaks where I live. So I don't know. I kind of knew him, and he got on the phone after I asked, could I do this as training for this movie? And he said, I want you to come for at least 2 weeks. But I want you to come the first week and the last week. And after living that experience, I realized what he wanted me to see. The crowd in the first week is much bigger than the crowd in the last week. And in the last week, no names, if a guy got called into Sparky's office, everybody knew what it was.
Yeah.
The guy was going down. And he knew. And those were the kind of things, I mean, my character in Mr. Baseball, Jack Elliott, had to be bigger than life, but he had to also be real. And those things taught me a lot. Sitting on the bench taught me a lot. I said, what number do you want? I said, well, I was number 14 in high school. Well, that was Dave Bergen's number. And Dave passed on, I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was, everybody was helpful in their own way. Bergie,
You guys talked a lot on the bench.
with him
Yeah.
on the bench every game. And we talked baseball and all the other stuff that players talk about on the bench. And I realized what the floor of a major league dugout looks like. Tobacco juice and sunflower seeds. I don't want to tell the audience that. But.
They know.
So anyway, I forgot where I was.
Well, a few days wouldn't have done it. You wanted to absorb what it was like. You said you didn't want to imitate or copy somebody. You wanted to absorb it so that you could portray it.
Yeah. We'll talk about living the dream. Al Kaline comes up to me the first day. And he says, you want to play catch? So I played long toss with Al Kaline. Then I had dinner with Sparky and Jim Campbell. And somewhere near the end of dinner, I got up the nerve to ask him, is this a myth about Al Kaline? And I said, here's the story as I heard it, that when Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle were making $100,000, Al was called into the office to negotiate his new deal. There were no agents in those days. And they said, Al, you're as valuable to us as Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle. We're going to give you $100,000 next year. And Al said, I don't want it. I didn't have a good enough year. And he said, I don't want you to tell anybody. Next year I'll hit 300. You can give it to me then. And Jim Campbell got a little agitated. And he said, yeah, it's true. Because I was in the room, and he wouldn't let me tell anybody, and the press blamed me all year for Al not being paid enough. So I tell that story. It's pretty awesome.
It's amazing.
That's
But it's
unbelievable.
It's amazing. What was the year in your career?
What was the what?
If there was a year in your career where you felt like, I didn't earn it this year. Did you have any of those moments like
That I didn't earn it?
like Al Kaline was describing? Just in your, because I think some of our best moments on this podcast are when people talk about times where like they felt like they didn't have it, and what they did with that.
I don't know. It's not like I was applauding myself. Somebody ruined flamenco dancing for me by describing it as a guy stomping around a stage and applauding his rear end. I didn't do that. I don't know. By the fifth year Magnum, we were doing great.
Yeah.
I won an Emmy in the third year. I think I didn't get arrogant, but I didn't reflect as much. But there's never time. I mean, we were working 6 days a week, 14, 15 hours a day. I just wish I had reflected. When I won the Emmy, I was hosting the show. Not because anybody wanted me to host it. My friend Carol Burnett got sick and asked me if I'd do it, and I was scared to death. but I didn't get to do the walk
Oh, up to the, yeah.
because I was the guy
And the winner is
who
me.
was sitting in their seat with a guy with a remote camera kneeling in front of you that you're not supposed to look at. And I was the guy who was supposed to then clap and say, I'm so glad they won. Well, I didn't get to do the walk because I was backstage.
Oh.
And then I got a Golden Globe that year, but I didn't ever make it to Beverly Hills to get it.
You were
Because
bad at
the
award
plane-
shows.
The plane lost an engine,
What?
and we had to turn around on the way to New York. It was on a Saturday, and I had to get there, put on a tux, and go. So I've never done the walk,
Ever?
and maybe that's why I never got. I got nominations after that, but I was this guy.
You were the clapping. What are you most proud of that people might not think that you'd be most proud of in your career? A moment, a show, a tweak in your technique. What is that?
The first thing that comes to my mind,
Yeah.
I was proud of a lot of stuff. But this thing at Tiger Stadium, excuse me, I've never seen Comerica Park. This thing, Magnum went off the air in 1988. Magnum, and we were the most successful syndication show for like 10 years. Our last episode was viewed by 50.7 million viewers. But to see this many years later, I know it's silly,
It's not.
but it's not. I mean, that show was an enormous amount of work and very satisfying. And I had been on so many shows that were uncomfortable. Most television series get miserable. You get successful actors. Are they out of their dressing room? I'm not coming out till they come out. And you're walking on eggshells. And I was on a lot of those shows as a guest. And I said to myself, if I ever do that, a show, my own show, I'm not going to do that. And then James Garner, working with him on Rockford, reinforced that. He didn't do it. Jim's very unpretentious, but watching him did. So it makes me proud. I mean, the show's in the Smithsonian, my hat and
Shirt.
Hawaiian shirt and my team ring, but that has lasted meant that the work landed. And there's no judge for that. You're not in a movie theater. The movies I've done, Three Men and a Baby, I sat in the back of the theater and I could watch the audience laugh. It was great. And there was a 10-minute laugh when we changed that diaper. Solid. Jeffrey Katzenberg at Disney at that point said, this is the longest continuous laugh I've ever had in a movie. But in a TV show, you don't get that.
Yeah.
You get ratings.
Yeah.
That some idiot at the some person at the network
No. You can go ahead with it. You can go for that.
says, you know, it was good, or some critic says it was good, but they also called me a throwback to the Pet Rock era. So the critics don't matter
Congrats.
that much. I swear to God.
I have a quick story about your enduring legacy that I know you don't know. A number of years ago, I was working at ESPN, and we were doing the Hawaii Bowl. It was right around Christmas, so it was Christmas Eve. BYU was playing Hawaii. BYU's offensive coordinator is a guy named Jeff Grimes, who's a very good offensive coordinator who's been all around college football. He looks quite a bit like you. We're in Hawaii. We're wearing Hawaiian shirts. I asked him in our production meeting, hey, have you seen Magnum? Because you look like Tom Selleck. And he said, yes, I love the show. So we did a side-by-side of him and you in our telecast. But what you should know is his kids' friends call him Dr. Burke from Friends. So he knows you as Magnum. His children's friends, when they come over to the house, call him Dr. Richard Burke. So I bring it up because you have touched generations of audiences within one family there. And I know you've heard it a bunch of places, but within one small group of one place, you touched multiple generations with great work. And I just think that's one of the most impressive things you can do.
Yeah, that was a joy and a risk.
Doing Friends was a risk?
I say in my book, I'm not plugging my book,
You can. It's on Amazon.
you never know. It's a book. But that if my dad didn't say this, he lived his life that way, that risk is the price you pay for opportunity. Well, on Friends, I was in between jobs, and they called, and you have to make a leap of faith. They don't have a script or anything else. And I went in and met with the producer, and they explained it. And I had done a screen test several years before with Courtney Cox, who was too young to play my wife. So she didn't get the part, but I knew I could work with her. So that was made it kind of an informed risk. And I made the thing, and we did 3 episodes. That was the deal. And I was doing my last show. You do a table read, sit down with the script. And we finished, and I think it was Lisa said, "Oh, that's right, this is your last show. I wish you could stay." And I said, "Well, nobody asked me." Well, they asked me. And then the next thing I know, they want to put Courtney and I on the cover of TV Guide. And I did like 9 shows. Wonderful people to work with. No eggshells to walk on in that show.
How did you said I knew I could work with Courtney.
Yeah.
How do you know you can work with somebody? What do you feel?
I don't know. I can't do it. I think even you have to recognize the comedy and tragedy and the tragedy and comedy. If I can find somebody who does that with a sense of humor in a serious show, that's one way. Because you can't. Well, this is a serious show. I can never smile. I can't do anything else. I think it's just something that happens. I mean, and sometimes you're wrong.
Interesting.
And sometimes people get the job and they change a little bit once they got the job.
It is such a pleasure to have you here. Such a pleasure to have you here. And you're going to get to see Tom Selleck Day tomorrow with the shirts. And
Yeah, maybe a coach. You wouldn't want me to be a coach.
Why not? We don't want you to coach us?
I'm not qualified.
We're not. None of us is qualified to do anything on earth. We just do it.
What was I going to say? Oh, the Tigers. It was very frustrating last year because with that great run,
Yeah.
I'm in New York half the time, or at my ranch in New York. It's just the Mets and the Yankees, and in L.A. it's just the Dodgers and occasionally somebody else. And it was very hard to get those games. So, but I realized something, that they were a changed group.
Yeah.
And they started being aggressive. It just was a total change.
Yeah.
And it's thrilling to me, because I know something about baseball, to see a guy on first base and a single goes to left field. And in the face of that fielder,
Yeah.
they're going to third.
That's the identity.
And I started to analyze this, and I go, well, the guy has to field cleanly. He's got to make a perfect throw. You got to make a perfect tag. Risk is the price you pay for opportunity. And it's just a joy to watch.
Sure is.
Well, we are so glad to have you here. Thank you for sitting down with us.
Sure. And well, I'd say any time, but I might get a job.
But you're going to pop by the telecast. You'll pop by the radio booth. We'll get you on, and we'll talk during the game as well.
I'll see you there.
Are you ready to throw the first pitch?
I don't think so. I'm 80. So it's just go by the numbers, make friends with the nerves. You may see me talking to my hands.
I hope we do.
I hope so. Tom Selleck, ladies and gentlemen. What a treat.
What a treat. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.